Testing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the session is about to start. If you need an interpretation headset from English to Russian, Uzbeki languages and vice versa, please take them in the left-hand corner of the auditorium. Дамы и господа, сессия скоро начинается. Если вам нужны сеты для интерпретации, для синхронного перевода, пожалуйста, возьмите их в левом углу аудитории.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next session will begin shortly. Please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, the next session will begin shortly. Please take your seats.
Xonimlar va janoblar, sinxronniy перевод uchun sinxronniy stoyka stolimizni joyiga tashrif buyuring. Rahmat.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next session will begin shortly. Please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, the next session will begin shortly. Please take your seats.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, good morning and welcome to M360 Eurasia. My name is John Giusti, Chief Regulatory Officer at the GSMA and President of the GSMA Mobile for Development Foundation. And I have the pleasure of being your MC for today's opening ceremony. I'd like to start, of course, by thanking our host, the Ministry of Digital Technologies for the Republic of Uzbekistan, as well as Beeline Uzbekistan, a subsidiary of the VION Group, clearly a digital leader across the region and beyond. Today and tomorrow, we will really dive in and focus on unlocking Eurasia's full digital potential. As we begin, I think there are three questions that I'd like to tee up anyway, in terms of encouraging what we can consider in these sessions to come. First, how do we go about developing a national digital strategy that is truly transformational? Second, what proactive policies must we put in place so that we have the right environment for digital innovation and transformation? And third, and importantly, how do we ensure that it is a digital transformation for all, that we don't leave anyone behind? On the first question on shaping national digital strategies, Uzbekistan very much serves as a case in point on the benefits of a bold and comprehensive strategy. The Digital Uzbekistan 2030 strategy provides a very clear roadmap for transforming the country into a digital hub. With reforms like the new telecommunications law and an independent regulatory authority, we see enhanced governance, fairer competition, and increased investor confidence. And I think the results speak for themselves. 5G now reaches all regional centers in Uzbekistan. Mobile broadband covers 99% of all settlements. And international bandwidth has grown to 4,200 gigabits per second, enabling greater connectivity and digital development. Too often, in many countries around the world, we see a disconnect between a country's digital strategy and the limitations that come with existing legacy policy frameworks. So this brings to the question of what proactive policies do we need to underpin a successful digital strategy. I think the experience here in Uzbekistan shows how linking regulatory reform and progressive spectrum allocation to digital ambition can accelerate the digital economy. Uzbekistan was the first in the region to allocate the 700 megahertz band for mobile broadband and has assigned 400 megahertz of spectrum in the C-band to the 4 MNOs free of charge. I think this progressive move allowed the country to be the first in the region to launch 5G. and put the national spectrum assets really to the full and efficient use of the citizens. Uzbekistan has also improved economic growth with sector-specific tax reforms, and we expect to see the benefits for citizens and the economy as a whole, with millions more mobile connections and a boost to GDP of 1.3% by 2030. And I think this is very much an area that we can continue to work with Uzbekistan on, as well as others in the region, on unlocking this lever of government influence in telecom policy. These developments will all play a very crucial role in closing the digital divide, which brings me to the last question I teed up. How do we ensure that the digital transformation truly leaves no one behind? Across the region, 164 million people are now using the mobile internet. That is 40 million more people than just a decade ago. So, good progress, but there are 80 million people in the region who are still not accessing the benefits of mobile internet. And 90% of that 80 million people actually live in areas already covered by mobile broadband. The gap presents a missed opportunity for driving socioeconomic growth, enhancing fiscal revenues, and creating employment that leverages that connectivity. So as we meet here this week, let's not lose sight of the unconnected as we engage here and work on ways to remove the barriers. These barriers, of course, include issues of affordability, particularly handset device affordability. And I'm very pleased we have ZTE here, who has really been leading an effort around more affordable devices. Digital skills, relevant content is also a factor, and of course, in some communities, safety and security. So I look very much forward to hearing from our host country, as well as other participants here, on innovative ways that we can drive inclusion through programs such as Uzbekistan's Tech Women and ICT for Girls programs. And I think we very much all know that we're convening at a critical inflection point for the region. Mobile connectivity has already laid a foundation for modern digital economies with great investment from the mobile operators across the region. But now we need to bring strategic thinking and innovation to build upon that foundation. This week, all the right people are here with us at M360 Eurasia to share their experiences and to inspire each of us. So let's take the opportunity, let's work together to unlock the region's full digital potential. To get us started, our first speaker will be His Excellency Shermatov, Minister of Digital Technologies for the Republic of Uzbekistan. And we are pleased to welcome him by first sharing a video before having him give his keynote address.
Why Uzbekistan is the best choice for growing your business. Strategically located in Central Asia, connecting Europe and Asia, Uzbekistan offers access to regional markets. We have an ancient and unique history, the birthplace of the algorithm that laid the foundation for information technology. With over 37 million people, 60% under 30, Uzbekistan has a tech-savvy, multilingual workforce with a remarkable 99.99% literacy rate. More than 125,000 university graduates annually contribute to the country's innovation. Full government's digitalization eliminated 132 procedures, enabling new center Enterprise Uzbekistan with special legal rules. Uzbekistan boasts over 640 foreign IT companies, $900 million in ICT services export, 2,500 plus tech enterprises, and $4.6 billion ICT market volume. Uzbekistan ranks as the first, safest, and fourth most affordable option globally. Uzbekistan offers easy international access with flights and visa-free entry to over 90 countries, along with free offices for up to 1 year and simplified procedures for ITS companies.
Moreover, incentives like 0% tax are offered.
Experience modern infrastructure and 24/7 offices in every region. Beyond business, Savor over 100 different dishes in Uzbekistan's delicious cuisine. Discover historical treasures like Bukhara, Khiva, and Samarkand. Enjoy shopping malls, cozy parks, and amazing entertainment. Immerse yourself in vibrant nightlife with bars, clubs, and restaurants. Uncover the wonders of Uzbekistan through the IT Visa Relocation Program. Explore the amazing nature with mountains, rivers, lakes, waterfalls, and even deserts. Uzbekistan, crafting the world's finest conditions for offshore outsourcing. Outsource with confidence. Choose Uzbekistan. Grow your business with us.
Assalamu alaikum. Доброе утро. Good morning, dear guests. I'm very much honored to welcome you in the first ever GSMA M360 happening in Central Asian region. And I'd like to express my gratitude to all those people who made it possible for GSMA, for Vion, and all the other supporters, because this is a very important event, and this brings you all to Uzbekistan, which is making the very important changes to transform its economy, which was mostly the very agricultural economy. It was a kind of closed country, but thanks to the bold leadership vision of our president, His Excellency President Mirziyoyev, since 2017, we are trying to transform our economy to make it more modern, to make it open, and to make sure that instead of sending people abroad to work, we are trying to bring all those remote works to Uzbekistan. And for the past several years, we've been quite successful in achieving those goals. If you just compare it in 2017 and now, in 2017, internet was a luxury. You couldn't access it anywhere outside of Tashkent, actually. It was too expensive. Now, internet is available everywhere. All our schools, hospitals, all the preschools, all the villages are connected with internet. And it's quite affordable. Everybody can afford it. And still, we are trying to make sure that it is accessible, it is high quality, it is much cheaper, etc. But at the same time, we have a vision to make sure that all government services are accessible online. So we are trying to move to fully digital government services to the people as well as to the businesses. So already the share of the online services is exceeding more than 80%. And by 2030, we aim to become among top 30 countries on the Global E-Government Development Index. And most importantly, we try to make sure that for IT companies, we create the best conditions. So if you have an IT company, and if you want to benefit from these opportunities, you can open the office here very easily. Our IT park can help you with one-stop shop service. So you don't have to face any bureaucracies. They will help with all the details. You don't pay any taxes. And your workers also pay less taxes than in other industries. And we fully help you with getting the best quality talents available and trying to subsidize all the education costs of your future employees. Thus, in 2017, we had just less than 10 companies with foreign capital as the resident of IT Park. Now, every month, we see more than 30 new companies with foreign capital opening the offices in Uzbekistan. And I hope that today's event will help you also consider this option. And if you really think about doing business with us, our main message is we help to grow your business with us. We will be at your service to help you to establish your presence here. And we aim, this year we are already going to have more than our first $1 billion of IT-enabled services experts from Uzbekistan. And by 2030, we hope to have at least $5 billion of IT-enabled services experts from Uzbekistan. And I hope that your companies, your representatives will be also the part of these results from Uzbekistan. And once again, I would like to welcome you all. It's a very nice place to be. Uzbekistan is not limited with this building only. As you can see in the video, we have very nice places to see. We have nice entertainment. And it's not just Tashkent only. Please find the time, visit Samarkand. It's a historical city, center of the Great Silk Road, where you can see how ancient cultures, all the mixtures of all the history was happening. Bukhara, it's also very nice historical city, and Khiva, you can see the city museum. So once again, welcome to Tashkent, and I'm very much honored to see you all, and please enjoy being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. It's certainly inspiring to hear about all the impressive work underway here in Uzbekistan, and I know that I, for one, look forward to seeing the IT park tomorrow. I think your country's forward-thinking policies and strategic investments are setting an example not just for the region, but for the globe. It is now my privilege to welcome Vivek Bajranath, Director General of the GSMA. As many of you will know, Vivek officially took over as Director General just last month, bringing extensive leadership experience from across the connectivity ecosystem to the role. He takes the helm at a very critical time for the industry as AI emerges as a powerful force. Partnerships with other sectors are really unlocking new possibilities unimaginable just a few years ago. And the industry is confronting challenges such as bridging the usage gap, as well as managing rising infrastructure costs. So please join me in welcoming the GSMA's new Director General, Vivek Bajranath, to the stage.
Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished guests, on behalf of the GSMA, it's my privilege to welcome you to M360 Eurasia. First of all, a very big thank you to the Uzbekistani Ministry of Digital Technologies, to Beeline and Vion for hosting us this year in this wonderful setting. This is my second time visiting Uzbekistan. As last year, following the minister's advice, I spent a few days visiting Tashkent, as well as Khiva, Samarkand, and Bukhara. These were indeed major hubs along the Silk Road. They were connecting the West and the East for over 1,000 years and making the flow of ideas and innovations possible. And as we trace the steps of Marco Polo, Omar Khayyam, and admire the achievements of Tamerlan and so many others, it is very clear the history of this region is one of connectivity. And so it's good to be back. This time in my new role representing the mobile industry, which is an industry driven by connectivity. So they say history repeats itself. So as I was preparing for today, I wondered, are there any lessons that we could learn from the Silk Road that might help unlock Eurasia's digital potential? And in fact, I think there are three. First of all, connectivity is power. Second lesson, evolution drives innovation. And third, trust enables trade. So let me explain what I mean by this. First of all, connectivity is power. For 1,500 years, the Silk Road flourished because it connected people, countries, and cultures. And in today's digital age, we see the same. Globally, our industry connects and serves 5.8 billion unique customers. And here in Eurasia, indeed, almost 80% of the population uses our networks. That's 194 million people. Across the region, governments are using mobile connectivity as a platform to transform public services, and to unlock economic growth and investment. And as you can see in this graph, we are an enabling sector. For every $1, which you see on the left side, that the mobile industry adds to GDP, an additional $6 are added to GDP through indirect and productivity gains in the wider economy. Last year, mobile technologies and services generated 7.7% of GDP across Eurasia, delivering $220 billion of economic value. And this will keep growing to $270 billion by 2030. But if connectivity is power, there is a huge potential that we have not yet tapped. Today, as John mentioned earlier, 80 million people in Eurasia do not use mobile internet. So let's break that down. If you look here, you can see the green bar shows us those who are connected and using mobile internet. Black is the coverage gap, people who don't have coverage, who don't have access to a mobile network. And red, the most pressing emergency for us, is the usage gap. Those living in the coverage gap are not covered by a mobile network, but the bigger opportunity is the red bar, the usage gap, those who live within the footprint of a mobile network but do not use mobile internet services. And why does this matter? Because it's an opportunity for people to achieve their potential. And guess what? This is not theory. When you bridge the usage gap, the mobile ecosystem grows. And even more importantly, as we saw earlier, the economy grows. Our research shows that bridging the usage gap in Europe and Central Asia could add $415 billion to GDP by 2030. But to do this, we need to address the barriers. And these include affordability, especially handset affordability, digital skills and literacy, relevant content in the local languages, accessible to all, and safety and security concerns for the consumers. So as John mentioned earlier, it's great to see the government of Uzbekistan prioritizing digital inclusion, with mobile broadband covering 99% of settlements, some of the most affordable data in the world, and digital literacy and inclusion programs like IT Gap, Tech Women, and ICT for Girls. This focus on women and girls is especially important, as often in the digital inclusion matters, they are the ones left behind. But if connectivity really is power, the public and private sector need to work together to address these barriers and ensure that we do not leave anyone behind in the digital age. So this brings me to the second lesson, which is the fact that evolution drives innovation. The Silk Road wasn't static. It evolved over time. Routes shifted, new cities rose, traders adapted to new technologies, from camels to sailing ships. And this adaptability kept the network alive. Today, the pace of innovation is even faster. From 5G and GSMA Open Gateway to AI, as an industry, we're constantly evolving. While 4G is still dominant in Eurasia, 5G is beginning to gather pace. So far, 4 countries, including Uzbekistan, have launched commercial 5G services, and by 2030, over 40% of connections in the region will be 5G. Over the past year, we've seen great advancements. Ucom completed the first phase of its 5G rollout in 9 cities. Operators in Kazakhstan announced plans for a 6-fold increase in 5G base stations by the end of the year. And Uztelecom upgraded and deployed over 3,500 5G base stations nationwide. All these are clear signs of the evolution towards 5G. Another evolution for our industry is GSMA Open Gateway, which opens up our networks and unlocks new market potential for operators. Today, 72 mobile operator groups representing 80% of global connections have already joined the initiative. And here in Uzbekistan, we've seen VEON launch its geolocation gateway service with use cases from location-based marketing to fraud prevention. The addressable market is $300 billion for Open Gateway, and it just cannot be ignored. Of course, AI is another key area of opportunity for the industry. The telecoms industry has been ahead of the curve in adopting AI for its own needs. And today we see a wide range of applications delivering value and economic benefits for customers and for operators. AI is being used to boost network performance, to enable call centers to respond faster and more effectively, and to streamline internal processes to drive efficiency across the board within companies. But there's another layer to this story. Our networks are not just using AI, they're also the foundation that enables AI. It's through our infrastructure that users can connect to our large language models hosted in industrial scale data centers. And as AI adoption grows exponentially, the capabilities that are built into 5G will become completely essential. So simply put, more AI means more demand on the network and the need for more 5G. Today, operators around the world are developing customer-facing AI solutions. Beeline Kazakhstan recently developed the first Kazakh language LLM to make AI more accessible to local businesses and customers. And Uztelecom has launched a suite of AI tools to support its enterprise customers with real-time data analysis. And as we develop the technology, we're intent on getting it right. At the GSMA, we've already made several commitments, including the Responsible AI Maturity Roadmap, the Mobile AI Community Group, and the GSMA Open Telco LLM benchmarks, comparing the LLM models in their relevance to telecoms. I really encourage you to download the GSMA app in order to find more about these initiatives. And so now let's move to the third and last lesson, which is that trust enables trade. Along the Silk Road, trust was vital. From Persian merchant contracts to Chinese trade seals, trust, mutual standards allowed commerce to flourish. And in the digital era, trust is just as vital. Without trust between companies, governments, users, and platforms, digital economies cannot thrive. In today's world, policy and regulations form the infrastructure of that trust. To close the usage gap, unlock the potential of 5G and AI, and drive economic growth, we need enabling and stable environments, especially around taxation, spectrum, and investment. Take taxation, for example. Uzbekistan's recent removal of the excise duty on mobile services and relaxed import duty on network equipment is projected to add 3.3 million connections, increase mobile broadband penetration by over 8%, and boost GDP by 1.3% by 2029. And that definitely is a win-win for all. On spectrum, if we're serious about enabling 5G, operators need 100 megahertz channels in the 5G band at 3.5 gigahertz. And then we need to plan for 6 gigahertz for the future. When it comes to investment, operators across the region will need to invest $31 billion in capital expenditure to keep up with demands. As operators, we are ready to invest, and we will do so boldly with the right market conditions. But we also need to be realistic about today's markets. And everyone in the digital ecosystem needs to share the responsibility for building up our digital future. So trust enables trade, and working together, I know we can build strong ecosystems in this digital era. For 1,500 years, the Silk Road connected the East to the West, making it possible for ideas, cultures, and innovations to flow. In just over 40 years, the mobile industry has built networks that now cover 96% of the world's population, bringing opportunities across the whole world. So while centuries separate the Silk Road and the mobile industry, three things do remain true. Connectivity is power, evolution drives innovation, and trust enables trade. As we gather this week, let's carry these lessons forward and work together to unlock Eurasia's full digital potential. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vivek. It's really a pleasure to have you on board as our GG and to give us, I think, some insights, especially as we meet in this historical center where the Silk Road was a key component. We can take so many lessons from that as we work to advance together the digital economy of Eurasia. Our next speaker today is Kaan Terzioglu, Group Chief Executive Officer of VEON. VEON is one of Eurasia's largest operator groups, serving over 50 million customers through its Beeline brand in Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan. VEON is also a prime example of an operator making strides in areas beyond connectivity, launching new API-driven services through the GSMA Open Gateway platform, which Vivek just mentioned, and developing the first Kazakh large language model in collaboration with the GSMA Foundry and other key partners. So please join me in welcoming Kaan to the stage.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. You know, every time, Vivek, I listen you, I listen John, it reminds me how big a privilege is to be part of this industry, this community, making impact to lives and livelihoods of millions of billions of people every single day. But, Your Excellency, Minister Shermatov, thank you for bringing us here. This room today is filled with decision makers, government regulators, who actually has one thing in mind. How do we connect every single person and give them an equal opportunity? Thank you for bringing us together. Thank you for hosting us in Tashkent. And I would like to thank all the representatives from Afghanistan, from Tajikistan, from Kazakhstan, Pakistan, Bangladesh. I know that there are people, executives from those countries as well, from Turkey, from Russia, to be here with us. It's really a unique opportunity for us to get together and think about the future. And sometimes the best way to think about the future is to look to examples. And being here in Tashkent, I cannot stop making one reference to an amazing example. It's Uzbekistan. Think about the transformation, the remarkable transformation this country has achieved just in 8 years, 2017 to today. From a closed economy, from repeating every single day that Uzbekistan is a double landlocked country, to today's Uzbekistan. With a vision of 2030 talking about the digitalization of the country, and in the digital world, unlike in physical world, there are no landlocks. This country, every single citizen of it will be directly linked to the global marketplaces, to the global knowledge, education opportunities, job opportunities. And 2030 is not that far away. We have 5 years for that. And it is time that we remember what we have achieved in the past and what we can achieve in the past throughout the world in this region and build the future. We are blessed as a company to serve in 5 amazing markets. In Ukraine, which is going under tough times in a war situation, to Pakistan, to Bangladesh, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan. These markets are full of opportunities. 500 million people live in these countries. 1 out of 2 is our customers, I'm proud to say. 160 million of them, they consume our telecommunications services. Another 140 are our banking customers, entertainment customers, education, healthcare customers. And believe me, one thing that I would like to pass you a message today, being a telecom company is not anymore about selling number of gigabytes, number of SMSs, or number of voice minutes. It's about being a service company, a service that can be reached at an affordable way to every single person in the world, a service that they deserve. And as a company, we are after this. We don't name ourselves as a technology company. It's not about telco to techco. It's about being humble servants to the people that we serve in every area that we can. Of course, utilizing technology. That's why we call ourselves not a telecom company, but a digital operator. And as a digital operator, our objective is to serve our customers every single minute in a day. That's the name of our strategic plan called Do 1440. That's the number of minutes in a day. And we, every day, through our companies, and there are multiple different areas that we work on, try to achieve that. In Uzbekistan, we have four companies that I'm very proud of. One is the one that is most well-known. It's Beeline. It's an operator. The other one actually is an advertising technology company which is headquartered in Tashkent in the IT park. I understand some of you will see tomorrow and will actually experience how fantastic opportunities this country offers for investments like this, which does precision marketing and big data analytics. The other one is B-Lab, which is a technology company specializes in creating digital services, from financial services like Beeple to super apps like Hambi, entertainment platforms like Keynote, which serves millions and millions of Uzbek people. Uzbekistan is a data-producing country, and please keep your data safe. Keeping data produced in Uzbekistan, processed by the engineers that are from Uzbekistan, serving the Uzbekistan people, creating jobs, paying taxes, is what will make this country a fantastic place to be. Data sovereignty, digital sovereignty is one of the most important things. And as we move from services to agentic augmented intelligence, we need to take that data to the level of creating the large language models. Vivek and John mentioned about the Kazakh language model that we have developed through our technology company Kaskod in Kazakhstan. That model actually studied in depth, not only Kazakh language, but also Russian language and also Turkish language. In 6 months from today, I would like to see Uzbek LLM models, Kyrgyz LLM models, and in all our countries, including Urdu and Bangla, to make sure that we enable people to be a better version of themselves. AI is not artificial. It's augmented intelligence. And it is going to be augmented the skills, competences of our customers. The best teacher will be in Jizak. The best doctor is going to be in Kiva, connected to the global power base of know-how with our own local language models, with our own values and culture. That's what the future offers us. Shame on us if we do not take this challenge. Before I pass the word, I have one more issue that I would like to share with you. I know that there are lots of regulators in this room. I want to remind all of us that it is a job for us to talk and share our plans. Because every decision you're going to take is going to make an impact in our ability to create new services, address the new markets, and make a better impact in a faster way. Tax burdens, regulatory limitations are the biggest obstacles we have in front of us. Availability of spectrum, and making sure that we are allowed to share infrastructures for the benefit of the countries rather than building redundant, wasteful investments. Please keep these in mind. They say never lose an opportunity to thank. And I want to thank Mr. Shermatov to you because you have eliminated the excise tax, which allows us to invest more. Let me share with you an example. In the time that we have been in Uzbekistan, we have invested $1.5 billion. At the exact same time, we have paid more than $2 billion of taxes. Sometimes I wish we invested $3.5 billion to connect this country in the best way. But progress is visible, and thank you for this year's decision. I would like to also say a big thank you to someone far away from here, to the President Milei of Argentina, 2 days ago, he eliminated all taxes on smartphones and services with regard to telecoms industry. And you know, I quote him, he says, "This will help me eliminate criminality in the country." What a fantastic vision. I also would like to thank today to President Trump. He announced availability of 600 megahertz for the industry to better services. It shows how in the center of the world our industry is, and I will say the same thing, it's a privilege to be part of this community. Thank you very much and have a fantastic seminar.
Thank you so much, Khan. I think that your global leadership really gives some great concrete examples of how we can try to challenge ourselves across the connectivity ecosystem to move the needle further, to get more people connected, more businesses enabled. So thank you for those insights. But we're also very pleased that we have another leading voice from the operator community with us today, Zarina Zainalova, Chief Executive Officer of Azercell. Azercell is the largest mobile operator in Azerbaijan, serving over 5 million customers, as well as investing billions in the country's mobile infrastructure. Azercell plays a vital role in bridging the digital divide and using connectivity to advance the social good. Through its Safe Internet project, Azercell has equipped school children and parents with important digital skills, while initiatives like its Women's Support Line are supporting vulnerable communities across the country. So please join me in welcoming Zarina to the stage.
Hörmətli mehmanlar, əziz həmkarlar, sizlərni ushbu gözəl şəhərdə səmimi qutlaşdan məmnunman. Do not stress, I'm not going to proceed. It's a very beautiful language, but I'm yet to learn it fully. But thank you, hopefully I didn't offend anyone. Thank you for this opportunity. It's a great honor to join you here in Tashkent for the 2025 edition of GSMA M360 Eurasia. I extend my sincere appreciation to GSMA, to the Ministry of Digital Technologies of Uzbekistan, and to Beeline Uzbekistan for bringing us together at this truly meaningful event. Today, as we gather in this beautiful city, we're reminded that the digital transformation journey knows no borders. It's a shared endeavor, one that demands a unified vision, regional cooperation, and collective action. Azerbaijan had the privilege of hosting M360 Eurasia for 2 consecutive years, in 2023 and 2024. These events provided a platform for us to witness firsthand the transformative power of collaboration in the digital age. The 2023 edition focused on building digital resilience for future prosperity. It brought together leaders and experts from 29 countries, offering forum for discussion a wide range of issues from strengthening customer experience to the future of infrastructure, 5G, IoT, AI, machine learning, fintech, cybersecurity, and many more. In 2024, the focus was on the far-reaching impact of technology on our world, reflecting on the shift from a process-driven to a data-driven world, a transition that accelerates innovation and redefines how businesses and societies operate. The discussions back then evolved around integration of emerging technologies like cloud computing, RPA, and machine learning into our day-to-day operations. Just as crucially, the event spotlighted the importance of a digitally capable and adaptive workforce, a topic that is very, very close to my heart. At Azercell, Azerbaijan's leading mobile operator and a key player in the country's digital ecosystem, we're proud to continue contributing to this journey and ready to share lessons we learned and continue learning. We're investing in resilience of infrastructure, in next-generation networks, AI, and most importantly, in people. Looking ahead, we remain committed to placing digital inclusion at the core of our mission, ensuring that no one is left behind in the digital evolution, because inclusivity is the true engine of economic growth. We will accelerate our investment in sustainable technologies, embracing green solutions and environmentally responsible practices. And of course, we will further strengthen collaboration, because only by exchanging knowledge and best practices with each other, we can effectively navigate the complexities of digital transformation. As we pass the torch to Tashkent, I invite all of you to keep this momentum going. Let us continue this dialogue, deepen our partnerships, and work together towards a digitally empowered Eurasia. Barchangizga muvaffaqiyatli va samarali tadbir tilayman. Rahmat.
Thank you so much, Zarina, for sharing your insights. I really love that expression, investing in people. I think it's so critical for the work that we're trying to do across the connectivity ecosystem. Next up, I have the distinct privilege of hosting a discussion on the opportunities and the challenges around advancing Eurasia's digital economy. And to do this, I have a really privilege to have such a distinguished panel join me on the stage. Mr. Thomas Lamanauskas, Deputy Secretary General of the International Telecommunication Union. Mr. Alexei Borodin, Director General of the Regional Commonwealth for Communications. Mr. Andrei Pyatkin, Chief Executive Officer of Beeline, Uzbekistan. And we're very privileged that Zarina Zainalova has decided to join us for this discussion back on the stage as well. So thank you so much to all four of you. So thank you all for joining us today. I think that the discussions and the speeches have sort of helped set a framework for some of the topics that we'll be talking about today. I think some of the key points that we've talked about today have been about making sure that we have an investment environment that's ripe for robust networks, that's resilient, and that's making sure that all people have the connectivity they need to do business and to live in today's world. But I think I'm really pleased that we are bringing together different perspectives for today's discussion: global, regional, and very importantly, the industry operator viewpoints as well. But Deputy Secretary General, let me start with you. Thank you so much for traveling to Tashkent for this event. And I think, as we heard in Vivek's remarks earlier, that Eurasia is really increasingly positioned as a digital bridge between Asia and Europe. But as we know, digital transformation very much relies heavily on investment. In your view, what regulatory or institutional changes are most needed so that we can create an environment that's more attractive, more predictable for the investment that the region needs?
So thank you very much, John, and it's always a pleasure to be here with you. You know, not the first time being interviewed by you on the stage, and it's always a pleasure and great to be joining by amazing panelists here. And of course, I also need to thank Mr. Shermatov for great hospitality. Only I think by now it's 3 hours for me in Uzbekistan, and those 3 hours really warm and hospitable. And thank you, Vivek, nice meeting you, and really great collaboration, of course, between GSMA and ITU, and I'm sure that with your help we'll be bringing it for the heights. So, and indeed, when you look at the region here, it has a very strong fundamentals already. So it was really interesting, always when you go to the region it's also opportunity to learn more and kind of go deeper in this. And you see, for example, a lot of indicators of ICTs are pretty strong, so internet usage, like tops 90%, so really when you compare to the world averages, it's very strong. Mobile usage, smartphone usage, it really indicates very strong indicators of ICT usage here. And there's also strong potential in terms of demographics, with a very strong young population. I think, I looked at the countries, between 25 and 30 is the average or median year of the people in different countries around the region. So it's really a lot of potential for growth. But of course, it's always their place to improve, So, and I think it's really great to see some of the initiatives that Minister Shermatov was talking about here as well, of investing in making the environment more attractive to the industry, to the investments, including through ICT hubs, tax incentives. It was great to hear also Khan also talking about tax changes here in the country. So it's definitely something that's been that's very encouraging. I myself, at that time part of VEON, worked on the changes in the country in 2017. So great to see exactly the road the country has traveled here. But I think there is, as I mentioned, the things to go. First of all, the fixed infrastructure, when we look, is still there that could benefit from improvements. So I think it's still, when we look at the fixed infrastructure across the region, fiber connectivity still would benefit from improvements. And of course, we understand that fixed, mobile cannot survive without fixed these days, especially when we talk about 5G. And as Vivek was saying, there's still 5G is the way to go. Across the region, only 1% of the users, I think around 12% of the coverage. So we can still push for stronger investment in the fixed infrastructure. Again, I think Khan mentioned there's no landlocked countries, but sometimes in the physical world there are, and I think sometimes the costs of connectivity there are increased because, is going further, reaching, let's say, submarine cables that are carrying most of the traffic is more difficult from here. So, of course, the policies that allow really linking with international connectivity are very important here. And here, of course, next to the fixed network investment, of course, the big role will start playing satellites, and as we know, the satellite connectivity is now really having a booming years. It's also the fact that it's increasingly converging with the mobile, through the abilities to the direct device connectivity. So opening, unlocking those opportunities will be important. But also back to the fundamentals, and with also regulatory environment. And regretfully, when you look at the region, it's still a little bit more improvement is needed. Especially we have these so-called Generation 1, Generation 5 regulatory frameworks, and I think most of the region is still between 2 and 3. So I think we still can push further, and that means, stronger regulatory environment, stronger regulators, more independent regulators, their ability to really ensure that regulatory environment really corresponds to the world's benchmarks, and I think that would also open up the opportunities here. So I think these are some of the elements. I think I will talk later on the skills. I think, of course, ITU is there to collaborate, from our Digital Infrastructure Investment Initiative that we have with the 7 development finance institutions, to our long-standing regulatory practice, to our initiatives such as GIGA, where we connect in the schools, and including in the region as well. And I think I'm looking forward to see how we can further push that, boundary together. Thank you, John.
Thank you so much. And obviously, the ITU is a very important voice globally. But I'm also keen to get a regional voice on this question. The Regional Commonwealth for Communications is very much playing a critical, and has for years, in terms of coordinating digital policy amongst the CIS countries. And I know that you had some very important discussions going alongside this event, so we very much appreciate that co-location. What key priority areas are you focusing on? How can we better align national strategies to accelerate regional digital growth?
Thank you, John. Thank you, Your Excellencies Shermatov, for this opportunity to be here. It's a great honor for me. I would like to switch in Russian. Maybe it will be my Uzbek language not so good for this moment, but I hope I can learn it. Сегодня самое важное в регионе это снятие регуляторных барьеров. И выравнивания регуляторного поля. Мы знаем, что страны очень по-разному имеют темпы развития, и очень важно выровнять такие направления, как налоговые режимы, действующие в странах, таможенные пошлины, согласование таблиц радиочастотного спектра, роуминг. И сегодня роуминг, мы говорим, это не просто услуги связи, это цифровые услуги. Абонент должен иметь возможность пользоваться привычными цифровыми услугами, переезжая в соседнюю страну. Это очень важно сегодня. Тут же появляется вопрос банкинга. Мы привыкли пользоваться электронными финансовыми средствами. Это тоже важный элемент работы. Сердцем доверенной среды сегодня становится электронная цифровая подпись. Очень важно внедрять взаимное признание электронно-цифровой подписи в странах. Цифровые логистические услуги, мы говорим здесь про развитие маркетплейсов. Мы знаем, насколько широк охват сегодня у них, от глобальных до региональных. В нашем регионе тоже действует несколько таких цифровых торговых площадок. И, конечно, технологии искусственного интеллекта. Здесь мы говорим о формировании единой лингвистической модели. Для того, чтобы, если говорить о нашем регионе, здесь крайне важно иметь и культурные особенности этой технологии, с тем, чтобы и языковые особенности. И это становится очень важным, особенно при трансграничной поставке услуг искусственного интеллекта. И эти вопросы должны решаться. Второй приоритет – это межгосударственная координация и оказание технической помощи. Очень важно, чтобы вопросы, о которых я сказал выше, решались. Государства имели возможность иметь эффективный институт координации. Есть эффективный институт координации Международный союз электросвязи, это понятно, мы все там работаем, но на региональном уровне очень важно иметь возможность стран взаимодействовать друг с другом, но и также иметь возможность получать техническую помощь на уровне региона. О том, как наиболее эффективно внедрять технические стандарты, регуляторные модели, технологии. И здесь важную роль тоже играют партнеры, такие как ITU, GSMA. Это такие важные приоритеты в нашем регионе. Спасибо.
Thank you so much, Alexei. And I think, it's very encouraging, I think, to hear the degree of alignment between all the speakers today on some of the key topics. You mentioned reform of tax, harmonization of spectrum, the challenges of harmonization across borders, banking, et cetera. So I think huge opportunities for us if we work together, industry and government, and also across border in the region. So thank you for those insights. I'm keen now to get an operator voice into the discussion. I'd like to start with you, Andre. And first of all, let me also thank you as being a host sponsor of this event here today. We've already heard, I think, some of the bold steps that have been taken by Beeline to improve its digital investment climate here in Uzbekistan. From a telco operator's perspective, what have the government actions in these areas meant to what you've been able to achieve? And more importantly, what additional measures could boost the opportunity, the long-term investment across Uzbekistan, but also across Eurasia?
Oh, thank you, John. First of all, I would like to say that I'm proud to be part of this great event, and would like to say welcome to everybody, especially whom first time in Uzbekistan. And I would like to repeat what Mr. Minister said. You must see not only this beautiful building. Uzbekistan is a great country. You should spend this time to explore it. About climate, invest climate is very important to have just stable and transparent invest climate. It's without it, digital transformation not possible, real digital transformation. Here in Uzbekistan, government and stakeholders are doing a very great job because the tax less than it was previously. Also, regulation much easier than it was before and easier than many other countries, and special opportunities for new investors and startups. As already said, in IT Park, it's all participants, all residents enjoy zero corporate tax, zero land tax, zero social tax, and even more just private income tax for employees much less than usual. It really helps, and we as VION also have a B-Lab, it's a B-Pool brand. It's our fintech, proud fintech with millions of customers, and we also using this opportunity to create new services for all customers around the whole country. And with such looking forward strategy, not only VION, not only Beeline, a lot of companies coming and creating services faster, better, and investing more. And also, I would like to repeat big thanks to Mr. Minister about abolishment 10% tax for telcos. We are using this money to develop our connectivity to far regions, to increase our capacity, to be basement for our services, also we're creating here. And our shareholders will continue to invest in Uzbekistan because such strategy. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to now move to another operator voice, Zarina, because I know that you've recently led a major network modernization effort in Azerbaijan, and you've also expanded oversight across Azerbaijan's fixed telecom infrastructure, and we heard Thomas before mention fixed connectivity as well. In this role, you're also very closely involved with the Online Azerbaijan project. How are initiatives like this one helping to boost connectivity and also tackle some of the usage gap challenges that we've heard in today's discussion, and I think also importantly, future-proof the country's networks?
Can you hear?
Perfect.
Very good. Thank you so much for the question. I guess I will address both the mobile and the fixed operator. As you said, a few years ago, Azercell launched a large-scale project on the expansion and modernization of the radio access network after almost a decade of underinvestment. And the project, which has required a significant capital expenditure from our side, aimed at expanding the coverage and increasing the capacity of the 4G LTE network across the country. And we have already upgraded a significant part of our base stations with state-of-the-art single-RAN technology, resulting in increased data traffic up to 4 times due to the faster speed. If we compare mobile internet speed, it has changed by 40%, improved by 40%, compared to 2023. And overall, this project has been essential for future-proofing our network for 5G and beyond. So that's on the kind of an example on the mobile side. On the fixed side, I'm very, very proud to share the successful project that was completed last year called Online Azerbaijan Project. It was launched in 2021 and has just in 4 years extended high-speed broadband access to nearly every household and business in the country, significantly enhancing overall network performance. The initiative has expanded fiber broadband coverage from just 9% in 2021 to nearly 100% by the end of 2024. And it has played a critical role in narrowing, as you can understand, the digital divide, particularly in rural communities, and of course, therefore, advancing the country's digital agenda. When the project was launched in 2021, the median internet speed in Azerbaijan was around 10 Mbps. By early 2025, that figure had risen to 73 Mbps, a 7-fold rise driven by the robust broadband infrastructure that we built over the past 4 years. And of course, one of the key factors behind that transformation was the replacement of Aztelecom's outdated copper network with modern fiber optic technology. So what does it mean? It means that 2.9 million households and businesses that we have in Azerbaijan now have access to digital services, with 2 million of these connected within the past 2 years alone. So something we're very, very proud of. Thank you.
I mean, I think that's a great testament to what investment and focus can do in a very short time. I mean, the figures are very impressive in a very short time frame, so thank you for sharing that. And hopefully we can all sort of take lessons like that on board and learn from each other throughout this 2 days. But I would like to, you noted, of course, the increased reach that comes from that connectivity. And in my opening comments, I, of course, noted that while I think overall the region is outperforming other regions in terms of connectivity, there still is a huge gap of 80 million people not yet connected, and the vast majority of those actually could be today if some of the barriers were removed. So as we focus on driving digital transformation across the region, you know, I want to get different perspectives on what we can do, what we should be doing to make sure digital inclusion is factored into our efforts. And, you know, Thomas, obviously the ITU has been looking at this globally. And I think you and Doreen and others within the leadership of the ITU have been very focused on the public sector and the private sector working together more closely. In your view, how can we be more effective in that collaboration and partnership? What lessons can we take away from your experience?
So thank you very much, John. And indeed, of course, our flagship initiative, Partner to Connect, is exactly testament on that. And also how to really bring different stakeholders to push for the use of digital and actually leveraging of digital in our development in everyday's lives. And also, and thank you very much, GSMA, and actually we on being strong partners in Partner to Connect. We now have you're among those who committed together 73 billion, US dollars in total pledges to really bring the connectivity to everyone. So, but what are the key elements in making that happen? So one is, of course, skills, so we really need, and when we talk skills, not just to kind of being able to pick up the phone and call, but actually really using that as an active users. And I think here in the region, we still see a little bit of a disparity of skills, different people, and especially when you look at the different sets of skills, especially more active skills, abilities to use digital technologies to create, things, to create software, to create content. There's still a little bit of there is a disparity here, and of course needs to be can be increased. Again, you mentioned that it's very good connectivity statistics, but of course always good connectivity statistics sometimes hide some footnotes, and of course when you look, there's still a gap for the older population, which is younger population and older population. I think at least our statistics say around 6 to 7% gap there. There's also around 10% gap between urban and rural, so these are the gaps that still need to be bridged. And of course, back to the skills also, it's a very important element there, is to make sure that people both know technology they use, but also know what they use it for. And I think that end result, what they're using for, is always great. It's always like, I always give this example from my own country, Lithuania, when internet banking took hold. And I think the biggest main element for internet banking success was that €1 that you needed to pay at the cashier, and that €1 that you didn't need to pay when you need internet banking. And a lot of older people really made the difference, because they really started using technology not for technology's sake, but for the banking, And I think really finding this really use cases and building skills for that is super important. Another element is obviously trust and confidence in the use, and cybersecurity elements there. And again, if you look at our statistics, our global cybersecurity index, so the region is about the average of the world, so a 67 score, but the world is 66, but it's definitely still the way to go. And again, on awareness of cybersecurity and awareness, on using the tools, so to make sure that people also are confident when they use the technology, of course, because any incidents really push us back. And now, when we talk about new policies, there's still a little bit more to go. For example, artificial intelligence, and I saw a strong presentation from Vivek on that. But of course, when you look at actual AI strategies and the policies, there are not that many of them in the region yet. And I think there are a few leaders in this regard, a couple of countries that already have strong policies. I understand Uzbekistan also launched recently, but I think we really need those policies to put in place so that we push the next boundary of technology use in this regard. And again, here, of course, to use with a strong our portfolio from standards to AI for good process here to help. And one thing I really wanted to mention, which is not about like pushing the connectivity, but also dealing with some of the effects. And I really was encouraged when Zarina in her speech mentioned sustainability and environmental aspects. And I think that I really encourage that in this region it's all recognized as an important aspect. And of course, energy efficiency has not only the environmental positive impacts, but also economic case. So it allows us to push further. Using of renewable energy for telecommunications also allows us to make it cheaper and more sustainable way. Again, push the boundaries of investment further. But also in a way, we really need to kind of figure out how to make it happen. For example, also e-waste. Again, the region has a bit of a lax still in e-waste recycling, only 6.5% e-waste recycling compared to 22% globally. So there's still the way to go, because I think as the more technology grows, the more we'll have to deal with some of these negative aspects there. But I think, again, as we discussed before, there are very strong fundamentals. Now how to make sure that those fundamentals are really expanded to everyone, and how we deal with some sort of side effects as well of those.
Thank you. And I think that point, expanding the fundamentals to everyone. I want to come to you now, Alexei, because we've been speaking a bit regionally, but of course we know those are averages. And we know that the digital readiness, as in any region, varies across this region. So in your leadership role at the RCC, what mechanisms do you see as being able to bring up those that may have a gap in terms of where they are in their digital readiness? So we see more and more broad success in the digital economy across the RCC member states.
Thank you, John. Спасибо. Да, Томас обратил внимание на конкретные направления. Я о них говорил тоже в самом начале, поэтому, наверное, подчеркну то, что делает возможным на уровне нашего региона именно преодолеть этот разрыв и дать новый импульс. В нашем регионе действует несколько межгосударственных координационных механизмов. Это и Содружество независимых государств, и Евразийский экономический союз. Но важная отличительная роль этих межгосударственных объединений в том, что они не являются надгосударственными. Работа в таком формате позволяет каждой стране сохранять национальный интерес и достигать соглашения на межгосударственном уровне с учетом интересов друг друга, то есть консенсусом. Есть примеры, когда страны объединяются и решения принимаются директивным путем, но нам кажется, что гораздо важнее иметь дискуссию и консенсус. И мы видим, что регион показывает высокую динамику роста цифровых услуг и развития цифровых технологий. Это лишь подчеркивает как раз правильность выбранного формата, когда страны, сохраняя собственные интересы, договариваются о том, как все-таки в интересах друг друга должны внедрять новые технологии, развивать цифровую сферу. И такой же подход использует ITU. ITU – это одна из немногих организаций глобального уровня, в которой работа строится консенсусом. И мы видим, что это наилучший способ учесть, либо сделать всех счастливыми, либо сделать всех одинаково несчастливыми, но зато это позволяет нам работать и предоставлять услуги нашим абонентам, нашим странам, нашим пользователям на достаточно высоком уровне. Вторая часть, о которой я как раз которую я затрагивал в первом выступлении, это оказание технической помощи. И здесь очень важно взаимодействие государств как раз с партнерами, такими как GSMA и другие, в том числе и государственно-частные организации. Мы видим, что опыт взаимодействия с GSMA, где очень высокие компетенции отрасли, именно как раз хорошо дополняет государственную политику. И это хороший мостик, когда государство слышит отрасль, а отрасль, частный сектор слышит государство. И мы поддерживаем всячески в регионе этот формат взаимодействия. Нам кажется, что он как раз тоже приводит нас к успеху. Спасибо.
Thank you so much. I think very wise words, and I think that's why I'm so pleased to have so many government and industry stakeholders here, because I think we all have the same goal, connecting more people. How do we make sure we're talking to each other in a way that we can enable that? So thank you for that point. And I think, I now want to move to you, Andre, because I think we also heard today that people need a reason to be coming online. Of course, as digital inclusion, digital connectivity expands, we are seeing a rise in digital finance, mobile payments, and this, of course, is also transforming commerce as well as inclusion. What role do you see network operators playing in scaling digital financial services and also increasing user trust?
John, thanks for your question. I see that cashless payments are very important for developing a digital economy and financial institutions. Also obvious that cashless payments fighting with shadow economy, bringing additional taxes to government just for developing country, for investing in digitalization, etc. In VON, as I said, we have B-Pool. B-Pool is a financial service, a cashless financial service, and it's not only payments as for telco or something like that. Together with Uzcard, we're creating some ecosystem, and now with such service, our customers can pay for almost everything, transfers, flowers, etc. And also what is important, it's not only Beeline customers, it's also customers with every citizen of Uzbekistan, every guests, and almost in all shops around the whole country. And if in Uzbekistan would be more such startups, such fintechs, economy will be much stronger, and also just digitalization will be very, very fast. It's a good way to go. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. And I see they have my countdown clock going, and I want to make sure I'm coming back to everyone here, so I may jump around a little bit here. Zarina, I wanted to come back to you, because I think one thing you said in your opening, which really resonated with me, was we're talking a lot about investment, but you mentioned specifically investment in people. And as we talk about digital transformation, we're often talking about technology, but people are critical to this. How is Azercell approaching talent development and leadership to ensure a robust future for your company?
John, as I mentioned earlier, I'm quite passionate about this topic. How much time do we have? No, I'm just kidding.
This is an important one, so as long as the clock doesn't roll, I'm sure they'll let me go over a little bit.
I am actually a very kind of firm believer in the power of human capital and authentic leadership. We're going through multiple transformations at Azercell when it comes to changes in technology, systems, processes. But one thing that, as we go through those transformations, one thing is very, very clear to me, and the conclusion that I made, or kind of making over and over again, is that an organization can invest in the best infrastructure, adopt the latest technologies, and implement the most efficient processes. But at the end of the day, its true competitive edge lies in its people. At the end of the day, if you have the right people in the right roles at the right time, that is a huge foundation for success. And that's why developing future-ready talents and nurturing inspiring leaders will remain a top priority for me personally as a leader too. Each year we allocate a sizable amount of money for initiatives that support the growth of our employees and align with our business goals. In 2024 alone, we conducted more than 640 training activities in partnerships with internationally recognized institutions such as IE Business School, Franklin Covey, Cornell University. Our joint capability building public program with GSMA is another significant milestone in our efforts to bring the best global practices to our team. Our employees go on experience exchange trips, boot camps to accelerate knowledge building. And we have a structured development program for our middle managers to help them increase their level of self-awareness and equip with relevant tools to navigate in the constantly changing environment. And I have to say, we have to be creative in how we provide opportunities for learning and growth. But that's definitely the priority of me as a CEO and the priority of my leadership team, and something that we're proud of in terms of progress we made so far.
Thank
more
you.
to come, of course.
I mean, I think we can definitely take those lessons across the industry and more broadly as well. I think that investment in people is so critical for what we're trying to achieve. Alexei, I'm going to come back to you because we've heard a lot about spectrum today, the importance of preparing for the future, releasing spectrum. We heard some great leadership examples from Uzbekistan. As we look ahead to the World Radio Communication Conference 2027, how is the region preparing for that, and what do you see as strategic priorities emerging?
Okay, thank you, John. Да, я думаю, что для региона основные приоритеты для Всемирной конференции по радиосвязи в 2027 году станут вопросы IMT, то есть систем 5-6 поколения и использования диапазонов, которые сегодня выделены для спутниковых служб. Ключевым из них являются диапазоны под D2D, Direct to Device, Direct to Cell, и также вопросы неавторизованного использования негеостационарных систем спутниковой связи, подвижной спутниковой связи, фиксированной спутниковой связи и исключение национальных территорий стран из зоны обслуживания. То есть это вот тот вопрос, который сегодня вызывает в регионе наибольший интерес. Естественно, операторы, государства и пользователи заинтересованы в совместном использовании этих технологий спутниковой связи, технологий подвижной связи, мобильной связи. Я думаю, что пройдет год-два, а тем более после конференции 2027 года, и это станет абсолютно обыденной услугой, но сегодня нам стоит усердно поработать для того, чтобы это стало реальностью. Спасибо.
Thank you so much, Alexei. And I think, the RCC has long been a very critical voice in the WRC negotiations. So we very much look forward to working with you, partnering with you, as we try to move forward to make sure we can respond to the future needs of citizens across Eurasia. So thank you. And I wanted to come to you, Thomas, because we've heard discussions today about data sovereignty from Khan, the discussion about cross-border digital flows as well. This whole notion, of course, of the Silk Road and trade and data moving across the region. What role can international cooperation in Eurasia play in ensuring trusted, secure infrastructure and harmonized digital standards in this space?
So thank you very much, John. And by the way, I'm sitting here in a very privileged position where I don't see the timer, so sorry if I...
so we're trying to be brief because technically we're probably almost out of time.
I know. So I just wanted to say that if I overgo, so I apologize. But I think already Alexei described very well both global level and regional level of collaboration and the importance of that in a very good way. But I think just some of the elements here where just as a pointers of the current processes, ongoing processes that maybe we could see how to leverage. So first of all, we see that in a global policy discourse, our industry, let's say, especially the broader digital industry, really became very important. If you look at the global frameworks for social economic development, in 2015, when we agreed on SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, ICTs were mentioned 3 times, and actually digital technologies were not mentioned as such even 1 time. Now, last year, United Nations adopted Back to the Future with a dedicated annex, Global Digital Compact, which actually dedicates a big part of its work on the data flows as well. And as you know, our colleagues in Geneva, UNCTAD, United Nations Commission for Trade and Development, actually started the working group on the CCD on exactly that, how to look at the data flows and data flow harmonization around across the borders. And then we already had, together with you, quite a bit of work in Broadband Commission in this regard. However, there's also some other things, in addition to what I mentioned already before, that we need to kind of maybe putting on everyone's agenda where we feel that we need to work together. First of all, again, coming back to sustainability, and for me this week is an important week because this Friday, actually, straight from here, I'm flying to Berlin for the first Green Digital Action Summit, which is a midpoint between COP29 and COP in Azerbaijan and COP30 in Brazil, to raise the awareness and role of digital industry in sustainability. After that, we'll have Financing for Development conference, big UN conference that doesn't happen every year, every 10 years, where we again will be pushing for digital infrastructure as a key element of the investment into the development. And we, in there, coming together with our Digital Infrastructure Investment Initiative, together with the 7 development finance institutions, to really advocate for that. After that, and again, I spoke about importance of new technologies, artificial intelligence. So I think, we really would like to invite everyone to Geneva for AI for Good and Global Summit, which will be alongside World Summit Information Society Plus 20 review in Geneva in July 7th to 11th, where the world will come together to see how to really leverage both new technologies such as artificial intelligence, but also bring them to all through the WSIS process. And finally, and I think Camp brings me back to the region, this year for ITU is a development year, because this year, every year we have a different conference. This year is World Engagement Development Conference here, which will take place in this region, in Azerbaijan, Baku, in November. So really will be great to have the world together again, discuss what are the global priorities. This region, through the RCC as well, is preparing for this with the regional priorities. And I think there will be, again, another opportunity to boost the global development in this regard.
Absolutely, thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in Baku for that as well. And of course, we'll see Zarina there too, I'm sure. Andre, as our host sponsor, with Beeline as our host sponsor, I want to give you the final word. I know we're technically out of time, but we've seen great examples of how Beeline has really gone well beyond basic connectivity and expanded to the broad range of digital services. What would be your final bit of advice on how the public and the private sectors can collaborate to improve connectivity, improve user experience, strengthen security, whatever points you would like to make as a final lesson for the group?
Thank you, John. Connectivity is very important. Connectivity is a basement of our digital services, but connectivity and internet access is not enough for real digital transformation. During the real digital transformation, we should serve with touching all aspects of people's life. All e-government, e-commerce, just telemedicine, online education, everything. And in our strategy, DO 1440 and AI 1440, we try to meet all customers' needs 1,440 minutes a day. Every minute a day, we would like to be with customer and serving needs. And I'm really proud to say in last year, and end of the last year, we launched here in Uzbekistan super app Hambi. You can meet Hambi outside in booth and know more about it. Just with services for people which touch everything from self-services, from travel, as I said, flower delivery. And also what is important, more than 8.5 million customers already using this service. And what is important for us, it's not only for Beeline customers and for everybody in Uzbekistan. And I think this services around connectivity is more important than connectivity itself for digital transformation.
Thank you so much. Those will have to be our final thoughts today. Your Excellencies and all the participants, thank you so much for being part of the opening of M360 Eurasia. I look forward to meeting many of you throughout the coming days. But I feel very much that the discussions today have kicked off the key topics that we need to confront and work together on here at M360 Eurasia. So again, thank you, and now time for a break.
Конечно.
Oh, yeah.